Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Laura Parrish, founder of #TNS Marketing LLC, and I'm coming to you live tonight. It is Sunday, May 10th, 2015, which means multiple things, but first and foremost, it means that it's Mother's Day. So I would like to give a huge shout out there to all the moms, right? I hope that you have had a fantabulous day. I don't even know if that's a word, but you know, badass people can make up their own words, so I just did. But I hope you've had a great day today, and I know that I've had a super great day with my kids and been uber busy, but you know, us moms, we're always busy, right? So we're still gonna have our call like we normally have, and I'm excited to come to you tonight with someone joining me who really, it's an honor to have him with me, sparked this whole topic tonight, right? Because he was on last week's call talking about linear income versus passive income. And he made some suggestions. He's like, man, we need to do a follow-up call about brick and mortar businesses versus online marketing, right? Having an online business. And he's definitely passionate about it. And his name is Mr. Mark Baker. So Mark, if you want to say hi, I'm glad he's here with us this evening.
Thanks for having me out here, Laura. Appreciate it.
Outstanding. And I have a couple other people that are supposed to be on. I'm not sure, it's Mother's Day, so you know they may not make it. But then I have someone who is here in spirit, and I have her story in front of me that has definitely some input on this subject, and I'm going to be sharing that with you guys because it is Mother's Day, and she's unable to be here because she is actually taking care of her parents. But she sent me her story, and she is a business owner, so I wanted to share that with you guys as well. So let me check over here on the other page. You guys are going to see me looking this way. It's because I have a laptop over here, and I've got the actual main page on here, and I want to see if you guys can see me live. If you can see me live, give a shout out. I think you can, according to what I just pulled up here. I see Dee says hi. Jenny's there. Alrighty, cool. All right, so it looks like we're live. So I want to get started. Tonight's subject, as I just said, is about owning a small business, right? And then more specifically, owning a brick and mortar, right? And for those of you who don't know what that means, really, brick and mortar means actually a stand-up building, like, you know, a restaurant, you know, like McDonald's or a Lowe's, or, you know, a stand-up building, a physical building that you go to every day where you have employees and all that good stuff, versus working for yourself as an online marketer. And that's really what tonight's subject's about. And I'm going to scroll through over here to the comments that Mark actually incited this last week. And I was like, hey, you asked for it, you're going to get it, right? He said, we need to do a second part of this hangout comparing being a small business brick and mortar owner, the startup costs, the liability, the time consumption, and not many businesses work for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week either. And I just love that because it's so true, right? So I don't own my own brick and mortar business. I've never owned a brick and mortar business. I am a licensed nail technician. Back in the day, I used to do that, and I worked in a shop. And then I decided, you know, I could make more money if I did this for myself out of my home. And I brought it into my home and bought everything that I needed. It was expensive, right? And I'm not talking about like what Mark's going to talk to you about tonight, which is big money stuff, right? But I'm talking about buying all the nail polish, you know, and all the acrylic stuff. And plus it stunk up my house. And just the time consumption that it took, it was a lot, right? It was wearing, and that was still just me. I didn't have any employees. So I can't imagine owning a huge like corporation type of business. But quite honestly, before I let Mark go on what he would like to say, because I'm going to say a little bit and then I'll let Mark talk for a majority of the time because he's got a lot of input on this subject. And then I'm going to talk about the person who is here in spirit, and her name is Corey. And I'd like to thank Jenny Weeks for sending me the information on Corey's behalf. I really appreciate you guys. But this is just my take on it, all right? And maybe Mark can put some input in as if I'm like crazy wrong and way off base, or if I kind of fit the bill with this, right? But the way that I see it is, it's like if you already own your own business, or you're looking to own your own business, but you're not sure what to do, right? It's like, oh, I want to do something that's going to guarantee me money, like I'll get a McDonald's franchise or something like that, right? You still have to go to a bank, right? And you got to get a loan to finance that, right? McDonald's isn't going to give you, $250,000, $1 million, whatever it costs to build the actual building. So you've got to get a proof of the loan, which means you're liable for that. If it goes under, you're responsible for the loan. And of course, McDonald's is going to provide you, and I just picked McDonald's randomly. They're going to provide you with a list of the type of French fries you got to get, the type of burger patties you got to get, the type of buns you got to use, and the type of cheese. But you're still responsible for buying that inventory. You're still responsible for keeping it in stock. You're still responsible for the actual marketing and sales of it, right? That might be a little bit easier because McDonald's is a big name and everybody knows them, right? But for the most part, you're responsible for everything. They're not going to come sell the food for you. They're not going to come make the food for you and be your employee and get the food from, the freezer or the refrigerator onto the grill or into the fryer and then out to the window to the customer or out the door to the customer. You're responsible for all of that. So the cost association with borrowing money to even rent land, if you have to build something of your own, right? So paying rent for land, building the actual building, housing the building with employees, housing the building with inventory, and everything else that goes along with it just seems like crazy expensive. And one point that I really like that Mark said in his comments on last week's chat was most businesses don't work for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I don't know many McDonald's that stay open 24/7, which means if you own a McDonald's and you're not open 24 hours a day, you can't make money when it's closed, right? And really, how much money are you making after you pay everybody, after you pay the rent, the lights, the bills, everything? What's left? And what is your quality of life, right? You might make, maybe 50 grand a year after it's all said and done and all the bills are paid, but are you happy, right? Because I think everyone knows that as an owner of a brick and mortar business, if your employees don't show up, guess who's got to go to work? You do. And that's not really time freedom, at least not in my book. So I'm gonna pass the baton over to Mark, but just he sent me a little bit of information and about what he did. He's a general contractor in California, and he had a business for 7 years. And it was a big business, right? He made a lot of money. As far as the cost of it and the sales of it and all that good stuff. But I want to really let him go into the breakdown of it. But I wanted to give that little synopsis so that you can see that he's definitely experienced in this and he definitely knows what he's talking about. And then after Mark talks about his piece in regards to owning a brick and mortar business, we'll really get into the difference between that and owning your own online business. And then, you can be the judge. We're not here to shove anything down your throat or sell you anything. We're here to show you, hey, if you want it this way, this is what you've got. And if you want to try this way, this is what you've got. And I think that the decision making will be very, very easy by the time that this is all said and done, right? So with all that said, Mark, I appreciate you being here, and I'm just going to let you take it away.
Perfect. Thanks a lot. First off, thanks for having me out. I'm super passionate about this subject. Haven't had a chance to talk a lot about it, but there is a big comparison difference between the two different business models. And you hit on it a little bit as far as if your business works for you, whether you're working or not, and so I'll go into my story a little bit about opening again, I'm a general contractor in California. I installed windows for another company. I had that entrepreneurial spirit I wanted my own company. Went out. I was still a little bit afraid to do it on my own, so I involved a partner, which was a bummer because that was the demise of the company, which was actually a blessing as well, which I'll get into in a little bit. But so I partnered with somebody. I went out. It cost us about $100,000 just to get the business up and running because we had to go out and find a location. Then we had to build the showroom out. Buy the trucks, the install trucks, the tools, the computers, the desks, the marketing. Then we had to start a marketing budget. We had to put a marketing budget to do advertising to attract the customers to come to do the business. So we were out $100,000 before we even saw our first client. But the fortunate thing was we immediately took off. I had a lot of contacts in the business and we became successful right away. we did about 2.5 million the first year in business. And just to give you a comparison, out of that 2.5 million, actually it was 2 million the first year. We averaged 2.5 million over the 7 years of business. So the first year we did 2 million, and out of that 2 million, it was only about a 15 to 20% profit margin. So out of that 2 million, we only profited about 400,000. And then out of that 400,000, you have to pay your rent, you have to pay your employees, you have to pay all the vendors were already paid for the products and stuff, but you have to pay the salaries and everything. And out of that 7 years, I think the best year I was able to pay myself was 125 grand. Now that was that's good money, but the more successful that we got, the more time that I had to spend with that business is the problem. So the more successful we got going, the more time I was away from my family, my kids, which ultimately ended up in a divorce as well. So that was unfortunate, but it took all my time away. And the one thing that I figured out was that I wasn't really aware is I really found that there's really two kinds of entrepreneurs that I know of. And there's the brick and mortar, the small business brick and mortar entrepreneur that really doesn't, and I don't want to say this the wrong way, because I think they all care about their employees, but they don't care about them past them showing up and providing the work that they did, and which is fine because it's on the employee that they accept that, and the owner is conducting business. But that didn't really go well with me because I kept trying to find ways to make my employees succeed more, but I had the wrong vehicle. When you're capped at a 15 to 20% profit margin, you can't really provide anything more than that hourly wage. And that was really frustrating for me. So that's why I get back to my partner that ended up stealing proprietary information, opening a competing company and all that good stuff. He actually did me a blessing because I probably would have been stuck handcuffed to this business still, struggling, not finding my this online business that I started that actually gives me the ability to attract people and bring people in and have them have just as much success, if not more success, than my actual brick and mortar location. So that was something that I found afterwards that I was super frustrated within that business because, again, I kept trying to find ways to make my employees succeed more, to take more ownership on. I gave two of my installers part of 10% ownership of the company, which kind of pissed the partner off too. But I was trying to find ways to give them incentive. And when you're dealing with the employee mindset, I was forcing success on people that didn't really want success. They just were like, "Oh, cool, man. What else are you gonna give me?" Right on, awesome. So I was trying to do things that number one weren't received, and number two I didn't really have the vehicle to accomplish what I was trying to do. So it's I hope that was clear enough. If you have any questions, from that.
There we go. I think I got unmuted. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Yeah. Yeah, that's great. I'm scrolling over here through the comments, and I was taking notes too. I'm like trying to listen to you, take notes, and scroll through the comments all at the same time. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a huge piece of it, and I really like you said that it was lacking the spirit of the entrepreneur, at least the way that you see it, because you wanted to help others succeed, right? You want to help others succeed, and when you have a job, there are people out there who show up at the job because it's something you have to do to make money in life, right? You go to the job, you work, you go home, and that's just what you do. And then there's the other type of people who want to like bust their tail, succeed, make it to the top, right? Do their best always and help others do the same, which is why I love Empower Network, because it's that community, right? It's the community of wanting to help others succeed. That's David Wood's vision, is about the team. And also, like where you said that you were really wanting it for others at times more than they wanted it for themselves, right? It wasn't well received because it's like, cool, what else are you going to give me? trying to want them to have success, to incentivize things so that they would want to be successful, but they didn't have the right mindset, right? They were all like, okay, what else are you going to give me, type of thing. So I completely, I can completely relate with what you were saying. If anybody has any questions specifically for Mark, please feel free to put them in the chat area. And him and I are both probably, I'm sure he might be on his end too. I know I am over here looking to see if there's any questions coming out. And you also said that ultimately it ended up in a divorce for you because I'm sure you spent all your time, like you said, at the job. And even your best year was $125,000, which again, as you said, is really, really good money, but at what cost? At what cost, right? And what I talked about in the little write-up that I did about coming to tonight's call is, and I really kind of put it in short, how it can cost you millions, or the difference, how it can either cost you millions or either make you millions. Income disclaimer, results not typical, right? I'm not saying that you're going to make $1 million or anything like that. But as Mark has explained, it costs a lot of money. And I, explained it a little bit with just my assumptions, but he is the real deal. He's been out there and done it, and it costs a lot of money. I do want to share a little bit about Corey's story as well. So Corey, if you're seeing the replay, hi. And Jenny, again, thanks for sharing this. But Corey owned a laundromat, right? And she's part of our syndication group. I love her. She's part of Empower Network. She owned a laundromat, and it cost her $250,000. She put up her house, got a second mortgage, put up her loan. The rent was $3,000 a month for the building, plus gas, water, electric bills, the insurance policy, state taxes, city taxes, federal taxes, and a few $1,000s every single month in supplies. Additionally, paying employees thousands of dollars every week, right? Having a dry cleaning bill every week, right? Working 7 days a week, employees calling out. I talked about that earlier, having to actually work. If your employees don't show up, you're responsible. It's your business, right? And sometimes customers can be rude, right? We all know that. And then, she was talking about dealing with like dirty clothes and stuff like that, which wasn't fun. They also had to pay for grounds fees, like on top of rent, like snow removal, landscaping, things like that. Maintenance cost a few $1,000s. And she originally employed 6 people, but then dropped it to 3 employees as it was costing her thousands every week. Plus it was tight. She worked for no money. The market crashed in September of 2008. By March of 2009, all of her business savings was gone, thousands of dollars. Her people and her customers were hurting because of it. She said that her husband took pay cuts at his job, and they started using their personal savings to stay afloat. Let's see. She said, "I regret spending that kind of money on a business unless you sell. You are totally responsible for customers, employees, everything. Very expensive. I hated the hours. Oh, and I paid insurance for business too, plus business lawyers yearly for business stuff." So, I mean, you can see, it seems like a no-brainer that owning a brick and mortar business is no joke, right? It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Now, on the flip side, I'm going to say that I've never said being an entrepreneur, owning your own business from home is easy, right? So there's my disclaimer. I've never said that it's easy, but what I will say is that as you go along in it, it's easier, okay? It becomes easier as you establish yourself, right? And so I want to talk about that for a few minutes, and I'll get Mark's input on it as well, about working for yourself from the comfort of your home as a business owner. And again, I want to clarify something before I really get into it, that there's a big difference in working from home, like as an employee for someone else, versus working from home, owning your own business. So for future reference, when I say working from home for yourself, I'm talking about owning your own business. I'm not talking about still, ticking a clock on your computer because you're doing data entry for someone else or so on and so forth. I'm talking about literally being responsible for your own finances because you own your own business, right? And you say, well, how do you do that? Where do you go? How do you even look into that? For those of you who are not in it yet, but are interested in working for yourself, because that's what the little write-up I said was, is do you want to work for yourself? Do you want to own your own business, but you don't know how to start? You don't know whether you should do brick and mortar or whether you should, try to do online marketing, but everybody's scared of that word marketing. Like, woo, it's like this big thing because people are like, well, I got to have a lot of friends or a lot of family, or I don't want to market to my friends and family, so how do I do it? Well, that's why it's called marketing, because you learn how to market to people you don't even know, right? There's called cold marketing, there's called warm marketing. In today's age and society, you don't have to go door to door, you don't have to pick up the phone and call people, and that's what's so amazing and what's so great about this community inside of Empower Network. But really, what I said was, whatever the reason, regardless of why you want to own your own business, if it's because you feel inside of your heart that you were just meant to do something bigger and better in life, if it's because you're tired of the vicious cycle of the monotony of getting up and doing the same thing every week over and over again, building someone else's dreams instead of building yours, or whether you're tired of living paycheck to paycheck and never being able to get ahead because, like I talked about last week, you have a linear income when you work for someone else. I mean, literally, you trade X amount of hours a week for X amount of paycheck, and when the new week starts, you're starting back at zero, right? You can't ever make more unless you work more, which means either overtime if they allow it, or getting a second job, which means more time away from your friends, your family, and doing the things that you really love in life. So a lot of people are just like, man, there's got to be a better way to live, and that's what we're talking about tonight. Now, obviously, by what Mark has told you and by what I've read you from Corey, I think it's pretty evident that it's no joke. It's hard work, it's time consumption, all that jazz to own a brick and mortar, right? And everything falls on you. Now, a similarity I would like to say in regards to owning your own business, working for yourself from home, and owning a brick and mortar business is still, it all falls on you. Okay, it still all falls on you. Owning your own business means you're responsible for yourself. You're responsible for your money. You're responsible for your time management, right? And that's a big key. And a lot of people have like problems with that because they're so used to having a boss say, okay, you got to get this done today before you can leave, and you got to do this and you got to do that. And some people need and want that guidance. And if you're that type of person, then maybe working from home, owning your own business isn't for you. But I think right now, even if you're afraid and say, well, let me say this. If you want something bad enough in life, you'll do whatever it takes to get it, right? Whatever it takes. And that even means trying something new, because your own best thinking has gotten you to exactly where you're at right now. People are like, I'm afraid to try this. I'm afraid to step out. What if it's a scam? I'm afraid of this. I'm afraid of that. Well, guess what? Doing the same things over and over and over and over again, expecting different results, is the definition of insanity. So if you want something different in your life, you have to start making different decisions, making different choices. You might be afraid. I get it. That's our defense mechanism, because they didn't teach us in school about entrepreneurship. At least they didn't teach me in school. And the majority of the people I've ever met weren't taught in school anything about entrepreneurship. It's literally, you go to school. If you want to do anything in life, you've got to go to college, right? Get out of college, find a job in whatever you went to school for, work it for 4 years, retire, and hope to have enough money to put your own kids through school, pay for weddings, live off of in retirement, and, leave to your family when you pass on from this world. And that's just the way it went. I didn't know there was another way. So tonight, we're here to say, not only is there another way, but you have a couple options, and why one can make you millions, right? And one could cost you millions and a lot more than money, but really your sanity and your freedom to live the way that you want to live. But online marketing has been a blessing. All right, I'll give you a little bit of history about myself. You guys know my name is Laura Parrish. I've been inside of Empower Network. That is the company that Mark is an affiliate for, that I'm an affiliate for. And if you've been invited to this call by someone else, they're an affiliate for it as well, right? We're at-home, self-employed affiliates for Empower Network, which means we have control over when we work, when we don't work, what we do, how we market, so on and so forth, and how we live our lives, our own time freedom. If we want to make more money, guess what? We can work more. We can sit in front of our computer more, or you know what? It's mobile. You can use your phone to do this. So you could be out traveling and work from your phone. It's whatever you want. But the bottom line is it's our choice. We're not required to report to any building. We don't have to worry about employees calling out. And we'll talk about the overhead or the inventory here in a second. But the bottom line is really, as an affiliate for Empower Network, you have the freedom to do what you want to do. You have the freedom to market what you would like to market. And I'll talk about that as well, where you can market Empower Network itself. But really, the founder of Empower Network, David Wood, his vision was creating a business so that his team could succeed, so that people who joined Empower Network could have success and live the way that they want to live. But like I said, I'm an affiliate for Empower Network. I've been in for almost 3 years. May 24th will be my 3-year anniversary. I've earned multiple 6 figures inside of Empower Network. Income disclaimer, results aren't typical. Go to empowernetwork.com/income to see the earnings of an average affiliate inside of Empower Network. But I don't know why anyone would want to do that, because I don't know anyone who really wants to be average. I think we all want to be exceptional, right? At least I do. My best month inside of Empower Network was $33,700. I've spoken on stage multiple times across the country sharing my story that your past does not define who you are right now or your future. I'm a recovering alcoholic. I've been sober for just over 4 years. And honestly, I never believed that I was worth anything. I never believed that I had any value to offer anyone, that anyone would ever want to listen to anything that I had to say. I mean, I'm just a stay-at-home mom. I'm just like you. If you're a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home dad, or even if you're not a parent, it doesn't matter. If you were just living life and you're not thriving, but you're surviving, and you don't know what to do, and you think there's got to be a better way, but how? That's what we're talking about. And I did it, which means I know if I did it, I know that you can do it, because I'm no better, I'm no worse, I'm no different, I'm no anything. I'm just in it already. So I'm here to share my success with you. And Mark is in it as well, and he's here to share as well his success inside of Empower Network versus what he was doing as a brick and mortar business owner, and how much better his life is, I'm sure. I mean, I don't talk to Mark a lot, so I don't know exactly how he lives his life every single day, but I'm pretty sure he has a lot more time freedom now than he did when he was running the brick and mortar business, right, as a contractor. But quite honestly, Empower Network is amazing. Now let's talk about the inventory, right? Let's talk about the inventory. So obviously, I was using the restaurant as an example earlier. If you had a McDonald's, right? I talked about how McDonald's would tell you what type of fries you have to buy, what type of meat you have to buy for your burgers, what type of buns, what type of this, what type of that. But you're responsible for purchasing them still, right? Well, here's the inventory of Empower Network, the products of Empower Network. And I'm going to go over them really quickly with you. The basic program of Empower Network is a blog. It's the Kalatu blogging platform. It's $25 a month, right? It's amazing. It's built on WordPress 4.0, which is the #1 blogging platform out there. And it's making life so easy to rank. Search engine optimization, so easy. And I had never blogged before in my life. Keep in mind, guys, I had 0 experience. I didn't even know what a blog was when I got into this business, okay? So that's the basic platform of Empower Network is the blog. $25 a month, Kalatu. Your affiliate fee is $19.95 a month if you choose to resell Empower Network. Now, I talked about earlier, if you have something else that you do that you would like to market, then you are welcome to use the Empower Network products to market that. You're not required to be an affiliate, but 70% commissions, and what I'm going to tell you here in a few minutes, I really think that it's a no-brainer of why you should and why wouldn't you want to market Empower Network, right? So the next step with Empower Network is the Inner Circle, and it's $100 a month, and it is a compilation of audios that are added to every single week, sometimes twice a week, of successful people inside of this business, such as myself and other people who are sharing what it is exactly that they're doing. And not only is it mindset about success and tips of what they're doing, but it helps keep you motivated, right? They always say, and it's so true, that what you put in your head is what you get out, of your mouth. What you put in is what comes out. Do you know that since I started this business almost 3 years ago, I don't even watch TV anymore? I don't watch TV. I don't read the newspaper. There was another person inside the company who said this a while ago, and I love it. He said, if you want to know what's going on in the news, call your broke friends, and they can tell you, right? because they're glued to the TV like that you never seen. It's like, but everything that's on the TV is bad. Everything that's in the newspapers, it's like somebody got killed, somebody got shot, this is going on, that's going on, right? And it's so true. I might watch some movies sometimes. You'll see me post on Facebook that I watched a movie at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and that's pretty much it. But I don't even watch TV, because what I put into my head is audios, right? Positive things. I can go to YouTube and listen to things, watch things, but the biggest source of my motivation and what keeps my head right, and what I mean when I say keeps my head right, is I'm talking about the things in your head that tell you can't do something. Right? My girl Maria, I know she's probably on this call. So Maria, if you're seeing this, shout out to you, Maria Barina. She did a blog the other day talking about affirmations and affirmations. And it was a great blog, and I read it, and then I said, hey, you should do another blog that defines what the difference is, because a lot of people may not know what the difference is between the two, and it's so important. Whereas an affirmation, she did that one today, and I commented on it but the affirmation is saying, I can do this, I am wealthy, I am this, I am courageous, I am strong, and stuff like that. But then you have the little things in your head, right, that says, well, no, you're not. Are you really? So then you second guess yourself. And then so she goes into the affirmations and stuff. But I really wanted to bring that up, because that's the self-doubt. That's the self-talk creeping in and making us second guess ourselves, which is why it's so important to listen to audio, right? To keep our mindset right, to keep that stuff out. People say, I don't have time to listen to audio. Really? Do you take showers? If you take showers or baths, you have time to listen to audio, because all you can do is push play while you're in the shower and the bath. You use the toilet. You can play while you're, push play while you're on the toilet. Do you wash dishes? Do you do laundry? Do you wash your car? Do you do yard work, landscaping? Are you outside playing with your kids? These are great for kids to listen to too. My kids listen to audio all the time, right? There's always, always time to listen to audios. The next 3 levels of Empower Network are really the meat and potatoes of the how to be an exceptional marketer, right? The top producer formula, the team building formula, and the mass influence formula. One product is 500, one-time fee. The next product is 1,000, one-time fee. The mass influence formula, the last product, is 3,500. One-time fee, right? And you say, well, why are you giving us all this stuff and talking about money and saying we're going to have to spend $5,000 to get all this stuff, right? When we were just interested in coming to this call to learn the difference between this and this. Well, here's the reason why. So if I told you that you could spend $5,000 and turn around and make as much money as you choose on your own time, whenever you feel like it, okay, as much money as you want. And again, my best month has been $33,700, income disclaimer, right? But I spent $500, $1,000, and $3,500 one time, okay? But I can earn on it over and 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 over again. The only thing I pay every single month is $144.95, which is my Kalatu blogging platform, which, by the way, is ranking me not only top #1, but top 8 spots on most of my blogs, top 5 to 8 spots on most of my blogs, outranking Wikipedia, USA Today, Forbes, the Today Show, so on and so forth. I'm even outranking authors by doing reviews on their books. I'm outranking authors on their own books, right? Their own material. So the Kalatu blogging platform puts whatever it is you want to talk about, whether it's Empower Network, whether it's another product you want to market and sell, whether it's, how to cook cookies, the best cookies in the world, or whether it's talking about mindset or entrepreneurism or whatever it is you want to talk about. Empower Network Kalatu blogging platform gives you that. And the inner circle gives me the mindset that I need. And then the affiliate fee gives me the ability to resell everything and make as much money as I want. So I'm telling you all of this for you to understand your options, right? Because that's what I talked about. This was about. You can own a brick and mortar business and spend how much? You said $200,000 is what you spent, Mark, to get that up and running, right? And his best, 100,000, still 100,000, right, to get it up and running. But his best year, bring home net, was 125,000, right? Or you can spend 5,000, and it doesn't even have to be that much, but we'll talk about that in a little bit, and turn around and resell and earn as much as you want. And the only recurring piece of it, People say, I have $144.95. Well, if you were to own a brick and mortar business, let's talk about things that Mark talked about, things that Corey talked about. How much is your rent a month for that business? How much is your rent a month for that property? How much are the products that you have to purchase inventory a month? Because I guarantee you, if you own a McDonald's, you're going to spend more than $5,000 probably a week in French fries, right? A week, not a month, you know, or not one time. Literally, I spend $144.95 a month, and I have the ability to turn around and make as much money as I choose. Why? Because what Empower Networks offers, the products are priceless. Okay, you want to learn how to be a good marketer. What was the fear we talked about at the beginning of this is that you don't know how to do it. You've never done it before. You don't want to hound your friends and family. You know, you don't want to do this. You don't want to do that. You don't know how. Well, guess what? It's in the products. It teaches you how. The blog is your platform, your blogging platform. The inner circle is your mindset. The top producer formula, team building formula, mass influence formula are your meat and potatoes that says, hey, this is who we are. This is what we're doing. This is how we're doing it, showing you step by step how to do it so that you too can do it, right? Pretty simple. Now, like I said, if you were to buy all those products like at one time, you know, or one by one, it'd be over $5,000. It's like $51.44.95. But the great thing is if you click the join now button below, which means you'll be joining whoever sent you to this video, because I'm sure they linked it up right so that you're joining them right, and they'll be glad to show you the way. But there's going to be a timer in your back office when you get signed up for the $25, and the timer gives you 7 days, and you have 7 days to get it all for like $3,997, which saves you over $1,100, right? Now, normally I don't talk a lot about money and the cost of the products and all that stuff when I do these calls, but I think it's like straight up in your face the appropriate thing to do today, because what we're really talking about, like I said, is the difference between a brick and mortar business and what we do working online from our own homes, owning our own business with Empower Network. It's mounds cheaper, and we have the ability to earn as much money as we want. Now, here's the thing, and I said this a little bit ago, I think before Mark talked, but I talked about how, you know, if you have a McDonald's, they're going to say, this is the type of product that you have to buy. These are the type of fries, this type of burger, cheese, buns, all that, right? But you're still responsible for getting it out there. You're still responsible for doing the work. Same thing. You guys want to be an entrepreneur? You want to own your own business? Empower Network is the vehicle, right? It is the vehicle like that has what Mark was talking about, what he was trying to do was missing, the spirit of the entrepreneur, wanting to help others succeed. We're not cutthroat, right? We want to see other people lifted up and edified, and we believe in one another because we want everybody to succeed. But the thing is Empower Network, just like a McDonald's, is going to provide you with your inventory, right? We're going to provide you with the products. We're going to provide you with what you need to be successful working for yourself as a business owner from the comfort of your home. But the onus is still on you. You still have to put forth the work. This is so key. And if for those of you who are watching this right now, who are already in Empower Network and you didn't send the link out to your prospects or your lists or your leads to get them on this call, I hope that you go to my YouTube channel, get the link, embed it, whatever, do the coding, put it on your blog so that you get credit when people see this. But I want you to get this to your people, and I want them to see this because this is so important for people to understand, okay? People think that when they sign up, it's not just Empower Network, for any at-home business, right? It's like, oh, I'll put in X amount of dollars, and then all of a sudden I can sit in front of my computer for 15 minutes and money is just gonna fall into my lap, right? I hate to break it to you, but that is not the way it works, okay? This is a business. Anyone who tells you that you can get rich quick is a scam artist, all right? This is a business. This is hard work. It takes time, effort, dedication. Now you say, man, I was looking for a way to build my own dreams. I was looking for a way to have time freedom. I was looking for a way to do what I wanted to do and live the way that I wanted to live and provide for my family the way I wanted to provide for my family. Well, my friends, I'm telling you, Mark is telling you, that's what Empower Network offers you. And you say, well, you just said it's hard work and it's this and it takes time and effort and dedication. Well, guess what? How much time and effort and dedication do you put into that 40+ hour job a week job that you're working every week for somebody else right now, okay? You can still work the 40 hours a week if you want, but damn, y'all, do it on your own terms. Do it from your computer. Do it for yourself so that you can make as much money or as little money as you want to make. It's completely up to you. You know, David Wood, the founder of Empower Network, said something on stage in Denver, Colorado back in July of 2013. And he said this, and I loved it because he's real. He's straight up. We're in your face. People say, I don't want the hype. But guess what? A lot of this is about hype because you got to learn to believe in yourself, right? You got to learn to say, I can do this. I will do this. I'm motivated to change my life. But what he said on stage was this. He said, when I first got into working for myself from home online, I worked 18 hours a day. And some people were like, ooh, I don't want to work 18 hours a day. I don't work 18 hours a day at my job. Just over broke, right? But he said, then the next day, I didn't have any results. So guess what? I got up and I worked 18 hours again. Next day, I got up and I didn't have any results and I worked 18 hours again. And eventually, after a few months, he got up and he had some results. And guess what? Then he only worked 15 hours a day. And then after like a month or two, he was having more results. So then he only worked 12 hours a day. And after that, he had more results. Then he only worked 8, then 5. You get the picture. The man probably doesn't even have to really do anything except for one blog a day right now. Why? Because he put himself out there, because he did the work up front. And that's why we love residual income. If you missed that call last week, you need to go back and watch it, because that's where you're not starting over every week. What you did today just builds upon and builds upon and builds upon, and your bills are residual, so why shouldn't your income be, right? But I love it because eventually you don't have to work so hard. It gets easier. But is it hard work, at least to start? Absolutely. Is it worth it? Unbelievably. But it's not any different. People say, that's too hard. I don't want to do that. Really? But you'd rather work behind a desk or manual, like physical labor out in the sun or in a plant, heat stroke and exhaustion and all that stuff for 10 years to get how much of a raise per year? 2%? Really? You tell me what makes sense, right? I'd rather work hard now, right? Work hard now and build myself and build my business and build my business so eventually it gets easier and easier and easier. You know, we make sacrifices, right? I know that Mark has made sacrifices for his family, right? We make sacrifices. I can tell you something right now. For any of you who might be a parent out there, how do you feel? Everybody put in the comments, right? How do you feel about letting your kids watch a bunch of TV? I'm just curious, right? I'm just curious to see how you guys feel about letting your kids watch a bunch of TV. Like, do you use your TV as a babysitter, right? Now, a lot of people would be appalled by that and be like, oh, I would never let my TV be a babysitter for my kids, right? The hottie toddies who know they do it sometimes but will never admit to it. I'm a real parent. I'm gonna tell you straight up how I roll, okay? I don't believe in it either. I never wanted the TV to be a babysitter for my kid. But you know what? I wanted to change my life. And I was tired of living paycheck to paycheck, because before we had kids, I was a restaurant manager. My husband was a restaurant manager. And we were making 6 digits a year together. We had no responsibilities, no kids, all that. We did what we want when we wanted. We spent what we want. We didn't have to worry about anything. We had kids. We decided we didn't want a stranger to raise our kids. I decided to be a stay-at-home mom. Our income was cut in half, right? Now, I said I've been in Empower Network for almost 3 years. My daughter is 7.5. My son will be 5 next month. So that would put my son at what? Almost a year old when I got into Empower Network, and my daughter almost 4, right? I had been looking for something to do online that was real, that was legitimate, for how long? Right? Almost 4 years. I had been a stay-at-home mom. Almost 4 years, we lived paycheck to paycheck to paycheck. The knots in your stomach, not being able to do anything you want, not being able to go anywhere you want, not being able to do anything extra, not being able to go on family vacations and do anything for almost 4 years. And guess what? I had it. And at that point, I was willing to do whatever it took to change our situation. What did I say a little bit ago? You may not be scared of working for yourself. You may say, I don't know how to be responsible for my own time management when it comes to running a business. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that. But when you want something bad enough, guess what? What did I say? You figure out a way. You do whatever it takes. Trial and error. Trial and error. You know what? If you make mistakes, it's not a bad thing. When you make mistakes, that means you're growing, right? You're not stagnating. If you've never made any mistakes, that means you're not doing shit in your life. Excuse my language, but that's just the bottom line truth. If you make mistakes, that means you're doing something, you're growing, you're moving onward, you're moving upward, right? You learn from your mistakes and then you move on. But the point being, back to the whole, do you let your kids, watch TV and use the TV as a babysitter? I didn't either. I said, that's never going to happen. I don't believe in that. They can watch 30 minutes a day and that's it. We did all that, right? But guess what happened when I started working from home? I put my nose to the grind. You know what that means? That means my head was down and I worked and I worked and I did what David Wood did. I worked and worked and worked and worked more hours in front of my computer, more than I worked at any job, right? And I was a salary manager because I was determined to do whatever it takes to change my life. And you know what that means I did? That means I used the TV as a babysitter. That means I would sit my kids in front of the TV for 30 minutes, let them watch a 30-minute show. And when that 30-minute show was up, I'm not proud. I'll be honest about what I did. I would go and get them a snack, I'd take a 15-minute break, have a snack, and then guess what? I'd put them back in front of the TV and let them watch a 30-minute show while I came and I worked more. And then 15 minutes, I would go and play a game with them. Guess what? Then I put them back in front of a show for 30 minutes and come back and put my nose to the grind and work more. And then when that show was up, I would go spend time. And then eventually, because there was school and then after school, I did that until dinner time. Then it was dinner time, homework, bath, bed, right? Boom. That's the way it was. And anything they needed in between, I did it. And you know what? I was guilty as hell. I felt torn up about that. But you know what? What was I doing? I was doing whatever it took. Because when you make sacrifices in your life now to get to where you want to be, then guess what? I knew what I was doing ultimately would provide a lifestyle for them that they didn't ever have to live that way, that I didn't ever have to do that again. I said, you know what? I can sacrifice this now. It's not going to kill my kids to watch a few hours of TV a day for me to be able to sit and do what I need to do to start my business, to run my business, to put the hours I needed into my business to do whatever it takes to change our family's life and our family's situation so that we could live however we wanted to live. That's how I had to be okay with it, right? I had to say, I'm doing this for the betterment and for the good of my family and our future and their future, right? Like I said, I was guilty, but I did it. And guess what? It didn't last that long, right? It didn't, because I built my business. And then it got easier and easier and easier and easier. Do I still work? Yeah, but guess what? I don't even consider it work anymore. Because when you do what you love, you never have to work another day in your life. I love what I do. I don't get paid to do these calls for you guys on Sunday nights. I do them because I want to share the value and the knowledge that I have with the world to show you that it doesn't matter who you are, what you do for a living right now, what you've done for a living, what you've done maybe not so good in your past or in your life. It doesn't matter who you are, where you've been, what you've done. It doesn't define your future and who you are today, and that you have the ability to literally transform your entire life, that everything that you want is right there in front of you, available to you. You just have to make the decision to say, I do want this, I can do this, and I'm going to change my life. That it is completely up to you. It is. All of it is completely up to you. So this call, obviously, going back, is about brick and mortar versus online marketing. So now that Mark's talked, that I talked about what Corey had to say, and then I talked about the online piece of it, I'm going to turn it over to Mark, and I'm going to let him talk about and share his experience with the online marketing piece of it. All right. And then we're gonna do some conclusion and follow up, and I'm going to ask you guys some more questions. I'm actually going to scroll through the comments here while Mark's talking and try to listen and take notes again all at the same time to see if you guys have any like lightning round questions for either myself or him. And then we're going to finish this call up. But I hope and truly believe that from what you've heard from us so far and what you're going to hear for the remainder of this call, that you understand how one can cost you millions, and more than millions, can cost you time and family, and one can build you millions. So Mark, take it over, my friend.
Awesome, thanks. So as you were talking, I came up with a bunch of other things that I left out as far as a brick and mortar small business owner. There's so many brick and mortar business owners that just do not, they think about it. They don't know marketing at all. Marketing, I opened that business and I had no idea. I'm like, oh my goodness, now I got to go pull ads out. I got to do this. And I didn't want nothing to do with marketing. I actually hated marketing my company. I hated dealing with the people coming in the door to sell me ads and everything else. I wish I had this platform, because what a lot of people I don't hear a lot of people talking about this, but every business, every brick and mortar business needs this platform, because I'll tell you, it solves more than one thing. You can bring in, you can have an employee be a professional marketer right within your business. And as we know, because this is something that I suffered from at the beginning, I started this online business thinking, oh, it was the easiest thing. Oh, I'm just going to cut and paste, copy and paste and all that. And I quickly learned that doesn't work, because I'm not injecting my stuff into it. And so I relate that to small businesses, that they hire all these marketing companies and they don't want nothing to do with the marketing, and no one's going to market your business the way you do. So think about this. Power Network products, platform, and the products within, assign an employee to it. They learn all this stuff on how to market that company. What does it do? It gives them the ability, it gives them the knowledge to learn to now you've taken, you might not have the business model like I didn't have to provide success to the level of success to that person, but now you did. Your employee is not only marketing your company, but now they've learned a way that they can also do something on the side and they can get as much success as possible there. So you provide that to them too as well. But the magical thing is I had a window company in Southern California. We did jobs outside the physical location, the physical address, the city that the physical location was in. My website was on the front page for that little location. But I did jobs in a 50-mile radius. And again, my ego was like, hey, how do I get my website up in every town for all my keywords? And the internet people would come in and they'd go, oh, give me a list of keywords. It's going to cost a lot of money. It's going to take a lot of time. I was asking for something that could never be done. But no, they didn't tell me that. They just kept taking my money. What I've learned here now is I take small businesses and I educate them that they can have a marketing pro inside their business, take on their own marketing, give it their own stamp, their own personal stamp, which is more powerful than some other marketing person sending the message out there, and provide success for their employees that will actually give them loyalty. They're not gonna, if you provide that to somebody, they're not gonna up and leave you hanging. They may build this business on the side that you've provided them with the knowledge you've provided them, but they're gonna wait and hire and train somebody else before they leave and do their own thing. And that gives you as a business owner the pride, or for lack of a word, whatever, that you've provided that for them. Look, you just gave somebody the ability to do, and it brings in, and guess who they buy the products from? You too, as a business owner. You've bought them, you've let them use them. They got to buy them from you. So you've generated income there as well. So it's just, man, I love David Wood. That guy's got the hugest heart, and I've learned so many things of how to give back to people, and it's exactly what I needed. Again, I'm just grateful that my partner did what he did to me to put me down this road and learn this marketing stuff.
That's awesome. Can you hear me, guys? Can you hear me out there?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Sometimes there's like a delay on the unmute button, but I want to make sure I mute myself because I know there's feedback when I don't. But yeah, I love that too. That's so amazing, because the path that you were put on, that you were led on, and where you're at now, you have the ability as an ex brick and mortar business owner to show them, because you've been through it. Like you hated it, you didn't want to do it, you didn't know anything about it. And that's another piece too. If you own your own brick and mortar business, you still have to market. So you got to deal with marketing anyway, right? But now you have the ability, because of what you do inside of Empower Network, to provide that value and that knowledge and that information to brick and mortar business owners and say, hey, you got to market your business. This is the way to do it. You know, they say that if you don't have a blog, you don't have a business. And I love that. And I completely believe that, because everything is online nowadays, right? I talked earlier about the fact that in society the way it is now, it's not like it used to be where you have to go knocking on doors and cold calling people, you know, to get people into your business and to show them the value of your business. I tell people all the time that I don't sell anything. And I mean, I guess theoretically, technically what we do is we're selling the products, but I don't see it that way. I don't view it that way. All I do is provide value to people and showing people, hey, here's information for you, here's education for you, here's value for you, here's knowledge for you to do what you so choose with, right? You can market it itself, you can market something else that you want to market, you can talk about recipes or do whatever you want and really change your life and impact and change your life. And if you're interested, I'm here to help you, right? But if you're not, that's okay too. No skin off my back. And I found that that's just the easiest way to help people, you know, is to say, hey, where are you at? What's your situation? Where do you want to be? And this is what I have to offer you. And if you're willing to change your life and want to do it, I'm here to help you. And if not, that's okay too, right? Because it's not for everybody. I want to put the disclaimer in there that in no way, shape, or form am I saying that working a job is a bad thing. There are many people who are doctors and lawyers and restaurant managers and dry cleaners and all those things out there who love what they do, who have a passion for what they do. And all I've ever said is be passionate about what you do. Love what you do. If you love being a lawyer, be a lawyer. If you love being a restaurant manager, be a restaurant manager, right? Whatever it is in life that you love, do that, okay? Because when you love what you do, you'll never work another day in your life. But back to what I was saying in regards to the marketing aspect, I mean, my daughter's a Girl Scout, right? She's 7.5 years old, and this was her first year in Girl Scouts, and she was selling Girl Scout cookies. And I got to tell this little story because I think it's perfect. I wasn't planning on this, but it just popped into my head, right? So that's kind of like a brick and mortar business, so to speak, right? Because you've got the actual Girl Scout cookies as inventory, even though there's no real building that, you know, we have to rent or anything. But the funny thing is, you know, everything is online nowadays, right? That we can, you know, I could send out links to, you know, my friends or my list or whatever. Hey, my daughter's selling Girl Scout cookies, buy some boxes, you know, and some people did. And that's all fine and good. But nobody goes door to door anymore. Can you guys believe that? Like, nobody does that. You don't have to, which is great. But nobody does it. But I thought to myself and my husband, we thought to ourselves, we're like, what would happen if we did, you know, just to see or whatever. And so my husband actually went door to door with her to sell Girl Scout cookies. And it was unbelievable. She sold over 476 boxes of cookies going door to door. And there's a point to that. And I want to say this, okay? And I'm not saying that you have to do this with your Empower Network business or anything like that, but there's a point that I will make out of it. So just bear with me while I finish this up. The story, which is this. Back in the good old days, weren't we like uber excited when we called a number, like a customer service number, and it was like automated? It was like, press 1 now to pay your bill. Press 2 now to, you know, speak to someone in customer service. Press 3 now to hear your balance or whatever. Like back in the day, we were so excited that everything was automated that you could just call and press a number and get the information you needed, and you didn't have to deal with anybody. You didn't have to talk to anybody. Like, it was great, right? Well, let's fast forward 20 years, right? How do you feel about that now? Like, when you call because you have a problem with your bill, or you need information, or you want to pay something but you want to pay a different amount, or whatever the case may be, and you call and that automated machine picks up, aren't you ready to just like throw the phone out the window? Because you want to what? You want to talk to a real person. It's like, can I get a real person on the phone? It's like, it's completely backwards now. It's like, we want to hear someone live. We want to talk to someone who's going to listen to what's going on, what we need, what our, you know, communication needs are, and things like that. And it's frustrating when you can't get someone. And then, but wait, there's more. When you do get someone, half the time, they don't even speak your language, right? No offense to anybody. It doesn't matter what your language is or what your nationality is. I'm just saying, and sure it happens in other countries, not just the United States, is that when you do get someone on the phone, you can't understand them half of the time, right? And it's so frustrating. Like, people now, 20 years later, would give their right arm to be able to talk to someone. And that's my point. My daughter went door to door selling Girl Scout cookies, right? In a world that's automated. And she sold 476 boxes because she took the time to go meet people, right? And say, this is who I am, here I am, I'm here, please support my troop. Now, you don't have to do that with your Empower Network business, but this is what I will tell you. You're not required to use a phone at all. I mean, you can blog and market online, and that's it. We teach you how to do all that, all right? So don't get scared and think that I'm going to be like, oh, you have to go talk to strangers, right? But I will say this, okay? When you listen to other people and you really show them that you have a genuine care and concern for what's going on with them, that's all people want, right? That's all people want. Because if people really, really believe that you're there and you're interested in providing them with what's best for them, what's in their best interest, and not just making a quick buck, they'll follow you to the ends of the earth. You guys know that, right? Like, don't you want to deal with someone who like genuinely has your best interest at heart? I mean, I do. So when you pick up the phone and listen to someone, if you choose to pick up the phone, or if you don't want to use the phone, that's fine. If you're communicating with someone through email, or you're communicating with someone through like social media, like Facebook or whatever messaging, Yahoo Messenger, Google Messenger, whatever, and you're talking to them and saying, hey, what's going on with you? You know, this is what I do. I'd like to help you out. Where are you at in your life? What is it that you want? And you genuinely listen to them instead of just slamming links down their throat, right? And saying, oh, you've got to join my business, come make a lot of money, right? Nobody wants that. People want to know that you're real. People want to know that you're like, just like me, you see right here, just like Mark, you see right here. We're here, we're coming to you live on Mother's Day night, right? Just talking about why we love what it is that we do, why it's so much more beneficial to work for yourself as an online marketer, owning your own business versus having your brick and mortar business. And I talked about this. I don't want to go into the whole story because it's kind of long, but I really want to do the quick synopsis about my car salesman spill. I don't know if you've heard that. Mark, have you heard that? My car salesman spill?
No.
But this is what I talk about. I've talked about, and I'm going to go really quickly because it falls right in line with what I've been going over, which is, you know, most people hate to go buy cars because when you go to a dealership, you've got a car salesman that comes out, is in your face, and is like, here's my car. You know, you want to drive this car, you want to do this, let's do this, let's go, let's go, let's go. Well, they do that because they know that the chances of you ever coming back and buying from them if you get off that lot is slim to none. But they shove it down your throat, and you don't want to deal with someone like that. You're like, leave me alone, right? So when you finally get rid of them and they go in and they sit down or whatever, like, even if you want to look at a car, you're like afraid to go talk to them because you know that they're going to be like down your throat. Let's drive it. You got to buy it. Let's do this, right? You don't want to deal with someone like that. But if you go to a car dealership and you have someone come up to you and say, hey, my name is Laura Parrish, and, you know, I'm here to help you out if you'd like to. You're probably just looking, but if you'd like to test drive or have any questions, here's my card. I'll be inside. Let me know. And then turn around and walk away. When you like almost fall over with a heart attack, you'd be like, that was strange, because you're so used to people like being in your face, right? But if you decided that you wanted to test drive a vehicle or have questions, how likely are you to go inside and talk to Laura Parrish, who just gave you her card nicely and said, hey, I know you're probably just looking. If you have questions, let me know. Here's my card, right? You're more likely to go talk to Laura Parrish then, right? But here's the bigger picture of it. It's because it's about how you present yourself to people, right? It's about how you present yourself to people and being real with people. But here's the bigger picture of it. If you go inside the dealership and you look at Laura Parrish, who gave you the card and said, I'm here if you have any questions, and you say, you know what, Laura, we decided we wanted to buy a Cadillac Escalade because it's a huge SUV, it's got leather seats, air-conditioned seats, heated seats, dual DVD players, moonroof, tinted windows, blah, 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 right? What if Laura Parrish looked back at you and said, okay, I heard that you wanted to buy a Cadillac Escalade because it has this, 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 and this, right? And repeated everything back to you. Wouldn't it blow you away that you had a salesperson actually listen to you and understood your needs? And you knew they listened because they repeated it back to you. But here is the biggest kicker of all. What if that salesperson also known, for example, as Laura Parrish for this example, right, looked at you and said, I understand that you want to buy a Cadillac Escalade because of all these things, but you know what? You could buy a Chevrolet Suburban and save about $20,000 and get all the same thing. Would you buy from that girl? You damn straight you would. Not only would you buy from her, you'd buy every car that you ever wanted to buy again for the rest of your life from that salesperson. Why? Because they were genuinely interested in what you wanted and what you needed. They listened to your needs and said, here, I can provide you with what you need. And there's no need, it's not necessary to spend all this extra money unless you just want the Cadillac logo, right? If you want the Cadillac logo, spend the extra 23 grand, right? I love this example because I actually bought a Suburban, right? We were looking at the difference. So it works out perfect for me. And I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? It's like $23,000 more. And it's the same car, right? That's where I came up with that example, because it's like, no, I'm buying it. People are like, why didn't you buy a Cadillac? And I was like, because I don't care about the name on the car, right? I care about the fact that it fits the needs of what I want. It doesn't matter if it says Cadillac to me or not. But I love that. And that's the bottom line, people. You think about yourself. Think about how you want to be treated in your life. Do you want to be treated with honesty, with respect, integrity? You want people to truly care about what's going on with you and not just try to sell you a bunch of crap or shove stuff down your throat, right? Think about how you want to be treated. Now, don't you want to treat people the way that you want to be treated, right? That's why I love what I do. That's why I love the ability. And I know that's why Mark loves this, because you heard him talking about in his story that he wanted more for his employees, that he believes that there's more than one type of entrepreneur, and that the type of entrepreneur that he is the spirit of wanting more, having a bit bigger, wanting his people to have more success, to better themselves. And that's the vision of David Wood. That is the vision of David Wood. That is the vision of this company, that we just want other people to be successful, right? If we have the means to provide the path for someone to be successful, we have the tools to provide that for people, we give it, right? And say, here it is, it's for your taking, you get it, but it's still up to you. Like, we can't want it for you more than you want it for yourself. We provide you the tools, but you're still responsible for working, and you still have to work. But you know what, man? It feels so good. There is no amount of money that I have ever made, no doubt, that means more to me than the amount of people's lives that I've changed and how I've impacted and changed people's lives, because that's my rock, right? See, when I got into this business, it was about making money, but I quickly learned that this was about something much bigger. This was about a lifestyle. This is about helping people change their lives. And in turn, by helping people change their lives, my life continued to evolve and change, and it just doesn't get any better. So I'm gonna close up. I'm gonna go over to Mark here and see, Mark, if you have any closing comments, and then after that, we'll end the call here.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out the fact that this business, when you work on it, it works for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it gives you that time back. So you go through the grind. If you decide to get started, understand it's work. It's just like, it's nothing that's gonna, you're gonna buy the blog platform, it's gonna funnel money right into your account right away. Although you are set up immediately to make money from day one, it's gonna take work. And just understand that the more work you put into it, understand that each piece of content, each piece of work that you put in has the ability to work for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with an automated sales transaction capability to it. So as you're sleeping, as you're playing with the kids at school, whatever, you're doing whatever you want, put the time in, and you get the reward down the road, because you're building smart. Back to my window business, that window business and a lot of other brick and mortar businesses don't work for you. I don't remember who quoted this, but are you working in your business or on your business? And when you're in a brick and mortar business, you're working in it. And in other words, it doesn't work unless you're there. Now I work on my business, because every time I work, that work continually works for me. That's the key.
That's awesome. I really, really, really like that. I'm not sure who said that either, but that's so true. That's so true. And thanks for pointing that out. That yeah, this is 24/7. So I mean, I love waking up in the morning and getting that notification, check my email, and it's like, oh, you just made $25, or you just made whatever, you know, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. It just doesn't get any better. Like I said earlier, we have residual bills, right? So why shouldn't we have residual income? We have to pay bills every single month. And I like the fact that I don't have to start over every single week from ground zero and only get paid X amount of dollars for X amount of time that I'm trading. It's just not the way that I choose to live anymore. And now that I know that there's a different way to live, I'll never live that way again, right? I'll never live that way again. So I'm going to close it up tonight. I want to thank each and every single person for joining us on this live webcast on Mother's Day. Again, happy Mother's Day to each and every single mom out there. Make sure you tune in next week, Sunday, the 17th of May, 2015 at 9 p.m. Same bat time, same bat place for our next call. And keep your eyes peeled on the Facebook page and the events page for what the subject for next week's going to be. But I really appreciate you guys. Please know that all you have to do to change your life is make the decision to do it and take action. Make the decision, which I know you've probably done because your heart's pounding and you say, oh, I relate to these people, right? They have what I want. Okay, well, guess what? You can have it too. The action step you need to take is click the join now button below this video. Whoever sent you to this call, they've connected it so that you will be linked up with them. Get started, join with them, and they will show you the path and get you started on your journey to changing your life to true time freedom, and if you so choose, financial freedom, right? I love you guys. I appreciate you. Again, thank you so much for being on the call, Mark. I really appreciate your time. And also a big thank you to Corey for sending in her testimonial in regards to her brick and mortar business, and for Jenny for getting that over to me. So thanks, guys. You have a wonderful night, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.